Hi guys, today we have here with us Kiran Rana, who heads sales for mid-market segment with HighRadius. And thank you, Kiran, for taking out the time today. We're going to talk about his journey at HighRadius and how he has seen the transition and change in the B2B sales ecosystem overall. The growth of the company and the challenges, the good, the bad, maybe some ugly if he can spill some beans, but that's what we're here for. So, my first question, Kiran, for you is we've been talking in the B2B ecosystem about lead generation, then ABM, and today the new buzzword is GTM. Maybe not so new for you. You guys would have, I think, have been doing it for quite some time. Can you elaborate on that? How has the transition been?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's been 10 years with HighRadius, so kind of very humbling journey. Kind of got to see almost every stage of the company. I think what's happening, and there's a lot of buzzwords, like as you rightly said, I don't think like ABM and GTM are completely different conceptually, right? Like, but it's a certain phase. As you go through a phase, there are certain buzzwords which picks up, and that's what is happening. So GTM, I think broadly, is a more integrated sales marketing playbook strategy. How you take your product to market, right? So, and depending on which stage of the company you are, what you do for GTM could be very, very different, right? Like there are a lot of founders that I'm meeting here who are very early stage company, right? So GTM for them could be just founder led, right? It is nothing but the founder making an elevator pitch, to someone that they think is a prospect, or they are either here to raise money or something like that, right? Versus as you start growing, you start realizing that you need to add leads into your funnel, and that needs to convert down the funnel into meaningful appointments, and then your sales, if they need to pick that meaningful appointment and take it to closure, right? So that entire journey is split into various things, right? One is, if you think top of the funnel, do people really know about you? So if they know about you, then pretty good. But if they don't, then you need to create awareness. So you need to probably do broad-based awareness campaigns to kind of raise awareness around your product. So that's very broadly what you see in email marketing, where people are talking about there. There's also people get confused about product and content marketing, right? Product marketing is I think is very down the funnel, where you're really talking about your product features and what benefits they carry in, right? But broadly, if you have to create a category and you're trying to kind of influence a whole lot of people about your product, you need to do a lot of awareness campaigns, right? Then once you have a lot of these in your funnel, you start engaging them through engagement tactics, and engagement tactics could be inbound, outbound. There are various different tactics, right, that you can do there. ABM is part of that tactic, right? Like you're doing an account-based marketing in a B2B world. You're not targeting a person, right? You're targeting a company, and then within a company there are stakeholders who are important, not important, and then you need to figure out what your ICP is, what your ideal client profile is, and then you're going after them, right? So basically that's where ABM comes in, and it's a thorough research on the company. You figure out who to meet, when to meet. You do a research on the company, you come out with who the important stakeholders are. There are various techniques to identify who the economic buyer is, who's the influencer, is there a technical influencer, functional influencer, and then you go after them through various medium. It could be email, it could be cold call, and so on and so forth. So overall, what you do together to go to market, take your product and introduce you to a customer, there could be broad-based sales and marketing strategy. Put together is your GTM strategy. So there's a lot of buzzwords, but just to cut things short, that's what it is, right?
So ABM is just one portion or part of it.
It's one of the tactic to engage your clients, to eventually get an appointment out of them, and then your sales can go and talk to them.
Right.
Now it depends. If your product is lot more, I would say, click, download, and install kind of a product, you might not have a lot of sales involvement. Then you might just use your ABM tactics to finally convert and close.
Right.
So you might not have sales talk at all, right? Like your inside sales could just do the sales, right?
Absolutely.
But if you have an enterprise product and you want to kind of, it's a complex product which solves a very complex problem, you need salespeople to come in, and they would take appointments and take it to closure. So there are different journeys, right? So one is, how do you get leads into the funnel? That's journey number one. How do you move them down the funnel and engage them till they convert to appointments? Which is journey number two. And then once you take appointments, how do you take them to closure and meaningful bookings revenue for your company? Is journey number three.
Right.
And all these steps have various different tactics. ABM is one such tactic.
Okay.
Right. So
Can you tell us a few more such tactics other than ABM?
There's a lot, right? Like, thing depends on, like, the problem
Top
is
two for
everybody
you.
is trying to do everything, right? Like,
Yes.
so we've realized post-COVID, I think what's more important is going back to the quintessential good old days of cold calling people, right? Because it's very important that people pick up the phone and talk.
Yes.
Imagine the number of emails that you get and how many of them you really read.
Absolutely.
Right? So email marketing, cold emails are really, really not working these days, right? So it is not the tactic, it's how you execute the tactic which really matters, right?
Yes.
Like, if you pick up an email and nobody's really putting their brains to it and they're happy about sending an email to 100,000 people, that's probably not going to give results to you, right? Is somebody spending 3 hours looking at an email, questioning themselves and questioning the team, is this email even going to get a response or not? That's execution versus strategy, right? That's the difference.
Absolutely. I think that's important. You mentioned something like inside sales. Can you talk more about it? Because a lot of companies, when they start, there's a sales team.
Yeah.
So how is this inside sale piece different from the sales, like the overall sales module?
Correct. I think what's happening is, as you look at a broad-based funnel, right? Companies which are actually looking to buy, right? If you look at your entire funnel, that portion or that segment could be much lesser, right? But you have a whole lot of people who are actually in the education mode, that they're trying to educate themselves of the product.
Yes.
And they have to go through that journey till they're actually ready to buy.
Absolutely.
Right? In the process, so if you engage your sales team, which is a very limited set of people and very high paying jobs, to kind of go after the funnel which is just educating themselves, it's a waste of time, it's futile effort, right? So you have a team which is basically nurturing, creating that education that's required for them, and keeping an eye on them when they finally convert.
Right.
That's very broadly the role of an inside sales team. So that has been now converted into sales development representatives. There are MDRs, BDRs, SDRs. Typically, people who are picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, here is our product. This is what we do. Are you willing to talk to it at this point in time?" Right?
Okay.
But the journey could be very different for different companies depending on the kind of products that you are selling, right? Like,
so for this, essentially, this is one essential step would be for them to at least visit your website or show some interest, or it can be just an intent interest that they are searching on this topic.
Correct. If let's say somebody landed on your website and they were looking for something, are you catching them when they're looking for something and saying, "Hey, are you looking for something? Can I help you?" Right? And then jump on a call to them, ask questions, discover a few things here and there, and then keep them engaged in the process is the job, right?
Absolutely.
And if your sales team does that, they're actually not spending time selling and closing instead of engaging
Very
them.
true. So there was this Marketo research that I would like to quote here, which said that 70% of the people who visit your website, if you take out the factor of time, they will eventually buy this product either from you or from your competition, taking out the factor of time. So I think it's a matter of nurturing them during that time period, whether it is 2 months or 1 year, that they eventually buy from you eventually.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Like, it ultimately boils down to, if you're selling ice cream on a lane, and there are people looking for that ice cream, do they even know that there's an ice cream store or not, right? Like,
Absolutely.
And it's like standard coaching that we have got. I've spent 10 years with HighRadius. My mentor was Shashi Narahari, who is the founder CEO of HighRadius, and like, this is this example that he gives to kind of almost everybody, and just clicks, right? Like, you just think about it, right? You're selling ice cream. There's somebody looking for ice cream. They don't even know you're selling ice cream. That you
exist.
Yeah, right. So how do you tell people, I'm on the same lane, please walk up, and I have a good quality product for you to kind of serve.
It's hot. Are you looking for ice cream? I'm right there. Maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow when you're looking for ice cream, you'll remember that I'm right there. That's an interesting take. One question, because you mentioned something about high-paying jobs in sales, and I think this is where my question is about hiring. How to hire salespeople that click with your company? How do you identify those guys?
Yeah. Okay. So I think historically, whatever we have thought as the best sales reps that you see, right? Probably not the best sales reps, right? So controversial statement I'm making, but that's very true, right? So our idea of a sales guy is somebody who's flamboyant, can go break a conversation, wine and dine, maybe talk to the receptionist, get a number. I'm talking about B2B sales, right?
Yes.
And then eventually walk in, barge in, make a connect. This still is required, but I think sales requires a lot more depth, right? We judge salespeople today in our company as how less are you speaking, right? If you're getting into a discovery call, like, if you have spoken for more than a certain percentage time, then you're not doing the job right, because you just have limited time with the person, The idea is to get more from them versus you trying to
Yes.
talk about your product. So sales, I would say, is very, very outbound. What we know of sales, what we thought is the major pivot that we did in HighRadius was we started looking for people who are a lot more inbound. They process, they have the right pulse of what's going on and ask the right question,
Right.
extract the right information which is required. Because you cannot do a one-way pitch, right? It cannot be a one-way pitch of um, what your product is, because maybe the person is not even interested in a product, they don't even know about it, right? So a lot of people do that mistake. They just go and start talk about their product and their company. Instead, are you taking a step back? Are they really interested? Ask question, what's their problem, what's their pain point, and then maybe, if it fits, you make the right hook pitch and then talk to them about how you can solve the problem, right? So I think that's the difference. So we definitely look for inbound people. We are not looking for people who have done sales. Like, if you look at all the historical sales people at HighRadius, we have hired from like across the board. We have people who are selling ice cream trucks to auto rickshaws to,
Wow.
I mean, everywhere, right? Like, but what was important is, do you have that knack of thinking and being a little more inbound than a lot more outbound? So I think that's the template.
That's very smart. And I think what Kiran essentially said, for those of you who watch Suits, you're looking for your Harvey Specter, because that's the kind of qualities that he's mentioned. The guy who can get the secretary to give you the number also. And essentially a person who can make sure that if a person is on the street, may or may not be looking for ice creams, but whenever they are, they need to know that you have the ice cream truck selling brilliant and amazing ice creams.
Yeah, that's a brilliant example that I've heard so much from our mentor, right? So it just works. Is that what I feel?
I'm going to quote your mentor and put that up on our LinkedIn. And thank you so much, Kiran, for taking out the time today and speaking to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.